Hi everyone, welcome back to the Quilted Chore Coat Quilt-Along. If you're just joining us, I'm so glad you're here. Last week was prep week where we picked out our quilts, we assembled our paper templates, and this week we're officially starting. This is week 1, and we're going to be prepping our quilts and cutting out all of our pieces using our assembled paper templates. Before we jump in, I want to answer a couple of frequently asked questions from last week. Number 1, can you join at any time? Absolutely, you can jump in whenever works for you. Everything is designed for you to be able to sew at your own pace. Question number 2, if I can't follow along now, will these videos be available for me to refer back to later? So all of the videos will be available through the entirety of the Quilt-Along. However, after the Quilt-Along ends, some of the videos may move behind a paywall. So if you're thinking about joining, this is a great time to jump in while all of the information is still available. Okay, let's get into this week. So this week is all about prepping your quilt and then cutting it up into the sections that you're going to sew into your final coat. Now, this can feel like a scary step, cutting into a perfectly good quilt, but I promise once you start, it gets really, really exciting. You're turning this quilt that you love into something you'll actually wear, and it's going to be so good. Let's start with the prep of your quilt. Number 1, make sure your quilt has been washed and dried at least once. If it's vintage or thrifted, this is especially important. Washing removes any dust, storage smells, it softens the quilt. It also shows you how durable the quilt is going to be. And if it's a quilt that you recently made, it pre-shrinks everything so that the size that you cut your quilt at will stay the size of your coat after wear and tear. You won't be disappointed that you throw your coat in the washing machine and all of a sudden it doesn't fit. I recommend washing on gentle, especially if your quilt is delicate, and perhaps throw in a couple color catchers just to prevent bleeding and any fading of the colors. Now take a minute to check quilting. If your quilt is very loosely quilted, it might be good to add a few extra lines of quilting, especially in the areas that are going to be a little higher wear, like the shoulder, just to make it a little more durable. If it's hand-tied, it's still usable, but just make sure that it feels sturdy enough that it will hold up to the wear and tear of normal daily use. Finally, give your quilt a good press. You want everything to lay nice and flat for when we start putting our templates on. Quick refresher for choosing a good quilt for this Quilt-Along. Number 1, think about wearability, the colors. Do you want it to be a bold statement piece, or do you want it to be more of a neutral wear-all coat? Are these colors that are already in your closet? Are these colors that are going to match with things that you already own? It's easy to look at a quilt and think that is so beautiful, but in reality, it might not be something that you ever grab to wear in real life. Number 2, think about scale. Big blocks will give a bold geometric look. Smaller patchwork gives more texture and detail. Both are beautiful. It just changes the look of the final design. Okay, now let's talk about size and sizing adjustments. So if you took my advice, which you should have, and made a practice version, then you are a step ahead because you already know if there are adjustments you want to make. You already know that based on your bust or your waist measurements, that the size that you fit into based on the sizing chart, the shoulders were a little wide and you would like them a little narrower. Or maybe you're tall, like me, I'm 5'10", so generally sleeves are a little bit short on me. I need to add an inch or two to almost every pattern that I make to have it hit on my arm the way that I want it to. Now this pattern is designed to have a relaxed fit, so there is some ease built into the pattern. However, if you want a more oversized look, I would recommend sizing it up in the size chart. It is much easier to take areas in if you need to along the way or in your final coat than it is to add to the coat if it ends up too small. So just keep that in mind if you're between sizes, what you might want to do. So this is the moment to make any adjustments to your templates that you might want to make. Common adjustments that people make are the shoulder width, widening or narrowing for a better fit, the coat length, adding or subtracting from the bottom. Obviously you can shorten it at any time, but lengthening if you want to add a couple more inches is important to do from the get-go. And then, like I said before, the sleeve length. I'll show you when I'm cutting up my pattern in the next video. I will be adding at least an inch, if not 2, to my sleeve length so that I can have them hit where I want them to. Make those adjustments to your paper templates before cutting into your quilt so that you know ahead of time exactly where you want to be cutting and you're not guessing along the way. Just a reminder, seam allowance is already included in the pattern, so you don't need to add any extra while cutting. All right, now for the fun part, the layout. I recommend you lay out your entire quilt on the floor or on a large tabletop. Take a second to look at it, see what areas you like best. If it's a vintage quilt, see what area might have a little bit of damage that you might want to avoid. If there's particular sections that you like the colors of, that you might want them to be on the sleeve, you might want them to be on the front. So this is your chance to design how you want the coat to look. Start placing your templates on the quilt and moving them around. It's important to place all of them all at once. First of all, so that you know you have enough space on the quilt to get everything you need. Think about where you want the focal points. You can go symmetrical, you can go totally scrappy, somewhere in between. There's no wrong way to do it, but it's just important to have planned ahead so you get the finished result that you want. This is also when you'll decide if you want contrasting details. In a couple of the sample chore coats, I made a pink and white coat that had pink collar, pink pockets, pink cuffs, which I think is a really fun way to add some unique details to your pattern. I also made a blue one where I didn't add any contrast, and I love that one too. So it's totally up to you, but at this point is when you would pick out what you want the contrasting fabric to be. So once everything is placed the way you have it, I recommend snapping a photo so that you'll remember exactly where you have everything. This is one of those measure twice, cut once moments. Okay, you cannot be too sure that you have your pieces where you want them to be. So when you're happy with your placement, now is the time to secure the templates. I like to use a light adhesive spray because it allows the paper templates to lay really flat on the fabric. And I like to use the clips to hold any folded areas in place, and then just a few pins to secure it. I find that the pins can distort the paper a little bit, so I use them as sparingly as possible. And now is the moment before you cut. One last check. Did you pick the correct size? Are all of the pieces accounted for? Are you happy with the placement? Have you mirrored the sections that need to be mirrored? For your front panel, you need 2 mirror images of each other. One is cut this way, you take off your template, you cut one front panel with the writing ink side up, flip it, cut the next panel. Do not forget this. I have made this mistake before and it is extremely disappointing. So take a deep breath, measure twice, cut once, cut slowly, keep everything flat as you go. There's no rush. This is supposed to be fun, not stressful, although inevitably it is a little bit stressful. So by the end of this week, you should have all of your coat pieces cut out and ready to sew together. This is a huge milestone, so celebrate it. Cutting is the hardest mental hurdle for a lot of people, but once it's done, everything starts to come together really quickly. I'm so excited to see everybody's layouts and cut pieces. Please share your progress using hashtag Quilted Chore Coat and tag me so that I can cheer you along. Seeing all the different quilts come together into coats is just such a fun part of this teaching process. Next week, we'll start assembling the coat, which is where it really starts to feel real. Take your time, trust your eye, and don't overthink it too much. Before we go, I wanted to announce the winner from last week's giveaway. The prompt was to guess how many participants as of last Wednesday we had enrolled in the Quilt-Along. The winner was, drumroll, Kathy! Kathy Miller guessed exactly correct. 854 people were enrolled as of last week. However, since last week, we've had more people join, which is so fun. So we are now over 1,000. And I'm so excited that you guys are here. I'm so excited to walk you through. And we have another fun giveaway for next week. Kathy, your fabric will be headed your way. This week, I have some fun. This is a binding holder, a needle minder from Riley Blake, and a fun little square ruler that I will be sending to one participant who posts a photo of or a video of your layout of all of your pattern pieces on the quilt prior to cutting it up. So before you cut it up, lay out all your template pieces and take a picture for you and for me. Post it, use the hashtag Quilted Chore Coat, tag me in it, say like Chore Coat Week 1 prompt, I'll come find you, and I'll pick a winner to receive these fun little notions. So don't forget to ask any questions you might have in the YouTube comments. Happy cutting, and I will see you here next week.